Hi everybody. In this video, we are going to explore the use of vivid descriptive terms for adding style to your Midjourney images. Coming up with wonderful words to describe the images in your mind is a difficult process. Here's a tip. As you read books, especially novels, make a note of descriptive words that you like. For years, I've kept a notebook of words that I found when reading. I use this notebook as an aid when writing my own stories. I've added a section in my notebook for words to describe images. Let's start with a scene. Let's go to South Korea, to the city of Seoul. Our first prompt, city street in Seoul. Does it give us Seoul? That's not Korean lettering. We get a random city in Asia, more Japanese-like than Korean. Well, that's fine for our purposes. I don't need for this to be specifically in Seoul. Specificity is a problem for generative art. Let's add the word narrow to our prompt. Narrow city street in Seoul. Here we go, more atmospheric scene with very traditional buildings that might not at all be like anything in Seoul. I think of Seoul as a very modern city. Let's try narrow modern city street in Seoul, Korea. Here we get these desolate, sad streets. There's an appeal to these images, but let's go for something more lively. Let's add the phrase pulsing with life energy. Midjourney does not understand grammar, so you don't need to write properly. Focus on the keywords. I would not call this pulsing, but stylistic elements have been added to these scenes. The light and colors are more vibrant. We'll add another phrase to see if we can push the style further. Vibrant tapestry of color and sound. The colors are really popping now. We can get more colorful with adding neon lights and at night. The full prompt. Narrow modern city street at night in Seoul, Korea, pulsing with life energy, vibrant tapestry of color, sound, neon lights. Here the environment is very different. Note the light reflecting on the road. I like how this image really brings us into the street. Note this odd pattern of colors and lines on the side of this building. Another phrase for adjusting the style of this scene, kaleidoscope of hues. I really like the light blue tones in the signs. The leaves are so colorful throughout this image. We're also getting a couple in each of these images. I like the indistinct shape of these people. What if we wanted more people in these scenes? Let's add the term bustling crowd. I'm going to add that as part of the phrase pulsing with life energy, bustling crowd. Let's see what we get. Some really nice scenes here. People in the foreground walking in array, which is good so that we don't have to worry about disjointed faces. There's a guy facing us, but partially hitting the shadows, and that works really well. I like the balcony railings and windows over on the left side. Very purplish color tone here. Where's everybody going? The lettering and the signs are nonsense, but look vaguely Japanese or Chinese if you don't know the languages. These are certainly not Korean letters. All the images in this series have the same perspective of looking straight down the street. Let's see if we can modify that by adding from below to the prompt. Midjourney isn't quite sure what to make of this addition to the prompt. It does really emphasize the kaleidoscope impact as well as the pulsing. Oh, I made a mistake in the prompt. Instead of narrow at the beginning of the prompt, I typed arrow. Interesting. Finally, we can add aerial view of to the beginning of our prompt. Notice here that we're starting to see a lot more cars and less people. To recap, Try vivid phrases like pulsing with life and energy, bustling, vibrant tapestry of color and sound, neon lights, kaleidoscope of hues. Sometimes you'll make a typo that turns out really interesting, like using arrow instead of narrow. Now, out of curiosity, I want to try geometric at the very beginning of the prompt instead of arrow or narrow. Experiment. Throw in random words. Enjoy creating images.